There comes a quiet moment for many, a turning point where the whisper of regret about lost time, about paths not taken, begins to stir deep anxiety. Perhaps you've watched others seemingly glide through their financial journeys, accumulating wealth with what feels like effortless grace, while you, for reasons deeply personal and often beyond your control, find yourself at a later stage, wondering if the window for a secure retirement has already closed. This feeling, this heavy sigh that settles in the chest, is not just about numbers. It is about the profound emotional weight of uncertainty, the fear of making costly mistakes now that the stakes feel higher, and the frustration with generic advice that seems to miss the very essence of your unique situation. Conventional wisdom often paints a picture of wealth building as a linear race, started young, compounded relentlessly. But what if your journey has been anything but linear? What if life, with its unexpected turns, its demands, its moments of profound loss or redirection, meant your financial awakening came later? To feel overwhelmed by the sheer volume of conflicting market information, to struggle to translate complex theories into actionable steps, to question if genuine financial independence is still within reach. These are not weaknesses. They are simply the honest echoes of a path less traveled by standard playbooks, a path that requires not a hurried sprint, but a deeply considered, data-driven strategy. This space is not for quick fixes or empty promises. It is for those who seek to understand the underlying mechanisms, the hidden truths behind sustainable wealth creation, even when the clock seems to tick louder. Benjamin Graham, the wise elder of value investing, taught us that in the short run, the market is a voting machine, but in the long run, it is a weighing machine. For the late-stage investor, this truth shifts its focus slightly. It becomes about carefully weighing the remaining opportunities, understanding risk with acute clarity, and leveraging wisdom gained over a lifetime. It is about sculpting a financial future not by chasing fleeting trends, but by anchoring decisions in fundamental principles. Much like a seasoned artisan meticulously carves a masterpiece from seemingly unyielding stone, we will deconstruct common misconceptions that hold late-stage investors captive and empower you with a framework for informed decision-making. We are uncovering the hidden truths behind wealth accumulation, tailored for your unique position. Don't just invest, understand the why behind every decision. Together, we will challenge the consensus and find your edge. Over the next moments, we will explore 6 strategic approaches designed specifically to maximize your retirement prospects, transforming that initial whisper of regret into a calm, confident stride towards financial mastery. A silent dread often settles within late-stage investors, the deep fear of insufficient time or capital, fueling a sense of inadequacy. This fear, compounded by a distrust of conventional financial advice, often pushes individuals towards seemingly safe portfolios. Yet, this path can become your biggest retirement threat, eroding the very wealth you seek to preserve and triggering deep anxiety about your future. The common belief that diversification alone guarantees safety is a distortion, especially when applied blindly. Many portfolios, in their pursuit of peace, become over-diversified into low-return, high-fee instruments. This creates the fatal mistake of seeking security at the cost of inflation erosion, quietly diminishing your purchasing power over time. The comfort of perceived safety can blind us to this deeper, systemic risk. It's a shattered expectation to realize that a purely conservative portfolio, perhaps 80% bonds and 20% cash, can be riskier than a strategically balanced one. The hidden systemic risk lies in the relentless loss of purchasing power across decades of retirement. This challenges the dopamine hit of perceived safety, revealing its true cost. To counter this, we embrace a 3-step strategic finance technique. First, measure real risk, focusing on inflation-adjusted return volatility. Second, implement targeted defensive growth by identifying undervalued, high-moat companies, much like Philip Fisher sought enduring competitive advantages. Third, utilize dynamic asset allocation, rebalancing based on intrinsic value rather than simply reacting to age. This practical transformation combats analysis paralysis, offering a clearer path forward. Consider the financial anchor metaphor. A ship needs an anchor for stability, but an anchor that is too heavy, preventing any movement, renders it vulnerable to slowly rising tides. Your late-stage portfolio requires strategic anchors, the stability of true value, the resilience of quality, without being weighed down by safe assets that erode your purchasing power. It's about finding the delicate balance between preservation and strategic, intelligent growth. Are you truly measuring the risk that matters most for your long-term security? Many arrive at a point in life where the very fairness of market mechanisms feels questionable, especially when chasing passive income streams that promise ease but often deliver hidden fees or unsustainable yields. This search, often born from incomplete financial education, can lead to deep frustration and a sense of being misled. The allure of income without effort is strong, but it frequently masks a profound paradox. There's a common distortion about passive income truly being passive, without continuous effort or critical due diligence. This often becomes a breeding breeding ground for confirmation bias, where investors seek out high-yield instruments without adequately assessing the underlying risk or sustainability. This isn't true financial freedom. It's often an illusion, a mirage shimmering with promises that evaporate under scrutiny. The market, in its ceaseless dance, rarely gives something for nothing. It's a shattered expectation to discover that many high-yield retirement income products, certain REITs, BDCs, or high-dividend ETFs mask significant principal risk, fee drag, or tax inefficiencies. These elements, often overlooked, subtly sabotage your ability to critically analyze financial data for long-term wealth building, turning an intended boon into a potential burden. The joy of receiving a dividend can quickly fade when the underlying capital is quietly eroding, or a substantial portion is lost to hidden costs. To truly understand, we must engage in a symbolic exercise to set the true cost of income. This involves a forensic accounting method to analyze the total expense ratio, the full tax implications, and the underlying asset quality of any income-generating investment. This rigorous process reveals how seemingly small fees can compound into significant capital drain, transforming your decision-making from reactive to profoundly informed. It's about seeing beyond the immediate yield to the long-term impact on your wealth. Consider the leaky bucket analogy. Chasing high passive income without understanding its true source and costs is like trying to fill a bucket riddled with holes. No matter how much you pour in, the hidden leaks, fees, inflation, principal erosion will prevent it from ever truly filling your retirement reserves. This symbolizes the absolute need for rigorous analysis, for truly understanding where your income comes from and what it costs. Are you truly seeing the full picture of your passive income, or are you simply pouring water into a leaky bucket? There is a quiet, often unacknowledged, fear of investment inadequacy, coupled with an overwhelming flood of information that can subtly ensnare even the most experienced investors. This leaves them feeling outmaneuvered in a financial landscape where the stakes feel higher and the path to a secure retirement seems fraught with hidden traps. Wisdom gained over years might feel like a shield, but it alone isn't always enough. A common error is the overconfidence bias, which often masquerades as decisiveness or consistency. For investors who have navigated multiple market cycles, this can manifest as an unwillingness to adapt strategies or a tendency to ignore contradictory evidence. It's a subtle self-deception where past successes can cloud present judgment, hindering the critical analysis required to truly thrive in evolving markets. Here lies a counterintuitive truth. Experienced investors are often more susceptible to certain behavioral biases. Anchoring bias, the tendency to cling to past valuations or market highs, can be particularly strong, as can loss aversion, the unwillingness to sell losing positions. These aren't signs of weakness, but rather deeply ingrained psychological patterns, amplified by a longer investment history. They hinder the ability to critically analyze market narratives, preventing a clear view of current opportunities and risks. To address this, we can embrace a mental healing model inspired by Daniel Kahneman's thinking, fast and slow. Implement a system to checklist for all major investment decisions. This isn't about second-guessing your expertise, but about deliberately slowing down impulsive system 1 reactions. This checklist should include a pre-mortem analysis, forcing you to identify potential failure points before committing capital. It transforms emotional decision-making into strategic logic, allowing for a more profound connection to data-driven truth. Think of the seasoned pilot metaphor. Even the most experienced pilot, with thousands of flight hours, meticulously uses a pre-flight checklist. Similarly, experienced investors, despite their accumulated wisdom, must employ systematic checks to counteract the subconscious gravity of behavioral biases. This disciplined self-awareness ensures a smoother landing into retirement, free from the turbulence of impulsive errors. What deliberate steps are you taking to challenge your own biases and truly see the market as it is, not as it once was? There's a quiet whisper of FOMO, a fear of missing out on growth, that can haunt late-stage investors, even with a shorter time horizon. This feeling is often intensified by a distrust of financial authorities who frequently dismiss growth opportunities for older individuals, leaving a void where clear, actionable advice should be. It's a profound yearning to find opportunities that truly resonate with the desire for sustainable wealth. A common distortion suggests that value investing is solely for the young, those with decades to wait, or that growth is inherently high risk. This perspective obscures a vital truth. Economic moats are just as critical for stability and compounding in later stages. These enduring competitive advantages, a concept championed by Warren Buffett, are the unseen forces that protect a business's profitability and market share, providing a bedrock for reliable returns. It's a shattered expectation to realize that true value often lies not in stagnant companies, but in stable, defensible businesses that can still compound capital significantly, even over a 10 to 15-year horizon, not just 30 plus. Warren Buffett's letters consistently reveal the critical importance of independent thought and data-driven analysis over fleeting market sentiment. He taught us that a wonderful business, even at a fair price, can still be a better investment than a mediocre business at a bargain price. To discern these genuine underlying mechanisms, we employ a three-step value investing technique for late-stage investors. First, identify companies with strong, sustainable economic moats, whether through powerful brands, network effects, or cost advantages. Second, conduct rigorous fundamental analysis to determine their intrinsic value, seeking Benjamin Graham's margin of safety. And third, invest only when the market price offers a discount, providing both growth potential and essential downside protection. Consider the ancient oak analogy. Like an ancient oak with deep roots and a strong trunk, representing a robust economic moat, certain businesses continue to grow steadily and withstand storms. They provide reliable shade, consistent returns even when young saplings or startups might offer faster but riskier growth. This symbolizes enduring value. Are you looking for the steady strength of the ancient oak, or are you chasing the fleeting promise of the sapling? The sheer volume of financial information, particularly around portfolio construction, often leads to an overwhelming sense of analysis paralysis. This can trigger deep doubts about one's ability to make truly informed, independent investment decisions, especially when facing the critical second act of retirement. The comfort of a simple, static rule can be tempting, but it often masks a deeper vulnerability. There's a common distortion that a static 60/40ths or similar set and forget allocation is universally optimal for late-stage investors. This overlooks the dynamic nature of market cycles and the unique ebb and flow of individual risk capacity, fostering an inflexible approach that can leave you exposed. The world rarely stands still, and neither should your investment strategy. It's a counterintuitive truth that while markets are generally efficient, as posited by the efficient market hypothesis, strategic capital allocation can exploit temporary dislocations. Ray Dalio, with his deep understanding of macroeconomic analysis and behavioral finance, has shown us how understanding market regimes allows for adaptive strategies. This is particularly true in fixed income and alternative asset classes, where informed adjustments can lead to enhanced returns, even for those with a shorter time horizon. This calls for a practical transformation through dynamic capital allocation. First, systematically assess current market regimes, whether inflationary, deflationary, growth, or recessionary, using quantitative indicators. Second, adjust fixed income duration and credit quality strategically, for example, favoring shorter duration bonds in rising rate environments. Third, explore uncorrelated alternative assets, such as managed futures or real assets, for true diversification that moves beyond conventional equity bond correlations. This proactive approach brings clarity amidst the noise, allowing for informed decision-making. Consider the master chess player metaphor. A master chess player never relies on a static, preset strategy. They adapt their moves based on the board's evolving state and their opponent's actions. Similarly, a late-stage investor must dynamically allocate capital, making informed adjustments to maximize their retirement, rather than clinging to a preset opening move. This symbolizes adaptive strategic thinking, a continuous engagement with the market, not just a passive observation. What adaptive strategies are you employing to navigate the ever-changing chessboard of the market? We have journeyed through the intricate landscape of late-stage investing, not as a frantic race to catch up, but as a path to disciplined, data-driven optimization. The quiet anxieties about time, about past choices, about the sheer volume of conflicting information are real, but they do not dictate your potential. We've challenged the conventional narratives, peeling back layers of dogma to reveal the hidden truths that truly govern sustainable wealth accumulation. We deconstructed the illusion of the safe bet, showing how conventional de-risking can, ironically, erode your future purchasing power. We unmasked the paradox of passive income, revealing the hidden costs and illusions that can sabotage genuine cash flow strategies. We faced the subtle behavioral traps that can ensnare even the most experienced investors, emphasizing that wisdom alone isn't enough without disciplined self-awareness. And we explored the unseen moats, applying timeless value investing principles to discern genuine growth opportunities, even with a shorter time horizon. Finally, we moved beyond static portfolio allocations, embracing a dynamic approach to capital allocation. Much like a master chess player adapts to the evolving board, the power lies in discerning these hidden truths from overlooked fees to deeply ingrained behavioral biases. This discernment is the bedrock for truly informed decision-making and for cultivating sustainable wealth, not just for today, but for a lifetime. Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha, once profoundly stated, "Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing." This resonates deeply with our journey, underscoring the immense empowerment gained through enhanced financial literacy and critical thinking. It is not about having all the answers, but about knowing how to ask the right questions, how to analyze the data, and how to trust your own own informed judgment. This is your invitation to move forward with sharp and critical thinking skills, to cultivate an unwavering confidence in executing independent investment decisions, and to embrace a commitment to continuous learning for genuine financial mastery. Your retirement blueprint is not a static document. It is a living, breathing strategy, informed by principle, guided by data, and shaped by your unique journey. What single, data-driven truth will you choose to anchor your next investment decision, liberating yourself from the sway of conventional dogma?